Okay, I'm going to say a few words here about drawing for painting. Now, you don't absolutely have to draw before you start painting. You can start just putting color down and managing those shapes and so forth, and slowly arrive at your drawing in the course of the painting. But I think for people more on the beginning side, that's a little overwhelming, and so I'm going to have you draw at the beginning of your painting. Now, drawing for painting is sort of a big topic, and what I'm going to do is post some other videos that are related to that topic that'll help fill out a little bit of what I'm talking to you about in this video. So this is just an introduction, brief introduction to doing your drawing. So big picture though, you can either draw with your wet media, which is the acrylic paint, so you can draw with a brush in your acrylic, and the other option is to use a dry media. So that's where I'm going to have you guys start is with a dry media. So this Vine charcoal. Now there's other dry media, of course. There's pencil, there's Conte crayon, there's charcoal pencil, all kinds of dry media. The nice thing about the Vine charcoal is that it gives you kind of the control that you get with a dry media, in that you can put something down that you can sort of manage and control, but it's also got some flexibility. So in terms of just being able to get rid of it. So if I put down a line in Vine charcoal, I can come back, and if I want to change it, I can wipe it off, or I can erase it, and I may not completely get rid of it, but I can get rid of most of it. Pencil is a little bit harder to do that with, so I really don't want you using pencil when you're drawing. It also gets you into kind of a different mindset, I feel like, when I watch people draw with a pencil. So with a Vine charcoal, you can kind of hold it like a paintbrush, and you can, so that when you transition from drawing to painting, it feels like you're doing the same thing. With pencil, you can hold a pencil like this, but most people tend to kind of, hold it like they're writing, and they get too tight with the pencil. And try to be too specific with it. So at the beginning with the drawing for painting, you're just trying to put down very big proportional marks to kind of get yourself in the ballpark. You don't want to get caught up with a lot of detail in the drawing because you're going to be painting over it. So we're just trying to lay out sort of a substructure, a good solid substructure for our painting. The other thing I'm going to have you guys do is when you draw, I'm going to have you do what's called angular drawing, which I'll explain in another video. But basically, it's kind of translating the world from its sort of complex, rounded forms into simple, graphic, straight line shapes, which may not make a lot of sense to you right now, but it's really important, and I'll keep talking about this through the course of the semester to. I'm going to really emphasize the fact that what we're doing as painters is we're not copying the thing that we're looking at. No matter how realistic it may look, no painter has ever exactly copied what they've seen. What they've done is they've translated what they've seen into painting terms, line, shape, tone, color. So it's a translation process. So you need to sort of put away your ideas of being absolutely accurate or trying to make the thing. We're not doing that. So at the beginning of a drawing, again, we're just trying to sort of map out sort of the very kind of basic structure, and we're going to be doing it in straight line terms. So if this is a pear, I've kind of converted it into an angular drawing. And if there was light coming from over here, I would do the same thing, sort of show the difference between the light side and the shadow side. Shadow coming over here. So it's really important to so when you're drawing, to try to not get caught up with the object, but to see it as a shape, and you're trying to convert the object into a simple graphic shape. So once you do this with your Vine charcoal, then you're going to come over it with your paint, and you're going to try to duplicate this with your paint. So. And the reason why it's nice to start with something dry is that a lot of times the paint, when people start with paint, they don't feel like they've got quite the same degree of control. So if you started with your Vine charcoal, then you've got some sort of structure down here, to follow when you start putting your paint down. So I would do the same thing then with my paint. I would just try to map out very simple kind of angular structure. Sometimes when you come over the vine charcoal, it'll mix in a little bit with the paint. That's okay. If that bothers you, you can, before you start, you can give the canvas a blow and just get a little bit of the excess of the charcoal off before you start painting. So again, you know, like here, I don't want to feel like I'm being too careful. I'm just trying to get myself in the ballpark. I'm trying to be very specific about the shapes that I'm making. Like I don't want to be wishy-washy. I want to be very clear about, you know, where my shapes are on the canvas, where they begin, where they end. That's more important than being accurate at this point. You know, and then eventually we'll come in and we'll start, you know, we'll start mapping out the light and shadow shapes. So, not that you necessarily have to do this at the beginning of your drawing, but I'm just showing you, say, where this will eventually go with tone. I want to try to hold on to those shapes that I established in the drawing, and then to create a simple tonal structure. So again, it's really about converting complex nature into a simple series of shapes. That's what we're doing when we're painting. We're putting shapes of color together, almost like a mosaic. So you want to start off with that kind of feeling as you're drawing, and so that when you go to painting, you've already started the process.